iPhone or anything. But hopefully you remember that because iPhones, iPads, all of that relate to advocacy, which I'll get to in a bit. It's good to be here. I'd like to piggyback on what Ayan said. It's very stylish here, and I have to tell my mother that I think we went to the wrong continent. Maybe I can become a dual citizen too, I don't know. My name is Idil. I am a Somali filmmaker, and I discovered my love of filmmaking as an undergraduate student at the University of California at Berkeley. And although my base has been New York, and it's still my permanent residence, I've actually spent the last 2 years living and working in East Africa, bouncing from there to other countries back to New York, and working on various projects, and have worked on both fiction and documentary. Some have been like a series, so a webisode series and a feature documentary on maternal health and issues such as that. I've also worked on a short science fiction romance film, which was part of a larger project called African Metropolis, 7 films by 7 directors throughout the continent. And that hopefully will be shown at Rotterdam, which is not too far from here, in the next film festival. And recently I've also directed the making of, or the behind-the-scenes documentary of a fiction feature film on piracy, which should be out in theaters in 2014 as well. So the work that I do varies. Sometimes it's dealing with really serious issues, or sometimes at sea in fiction land, surrounded by fake guns that aren't loaded. But despite all of that, one thing that's true is that I hold on to my nomadic Somali heritage. And although I do find it really difficult to explain to my Somali friends and family sometimes that I work in film, and not for the BBC or CNN, I find greater encouragement and support by the diaspora and the Somali community. So whether I'm in Minnesota or Somalia. And one funny story is that in 2009 I went to the film festival in Sundance, and I had 2 different Somali taxi drivers between the screenings. And at the time, I told my mom, oh, Hoy, I'm going to Sundance again. Oh, why do you have to go again? And I'm like, it's a really big deal. It's really good to be there. But I kind of let it go. So one of the taxi drivers was really excited that I was there. And he was like, oh, mashallah, I'm so happy you're here. And I was like, wow, somebody who knows, thank you. The other taxi driver was like, what do you do again? Film? He just looked at me with this question mark. And I said, and computer science. I was joking, but he was relieved. But I'm happy to report that I'm not the only Somali filmmaker. There's a lot of hyphenated filmmakers. There's one there, the cool guy in the Nawis. And there's Ahmed Farah of Real Films. There's another guy named Mo who's in London. Ahmed, he's based in Nairobi and London. He just finished a film that he shot in Hargeisa, and that'll be coming out soon. And Mo just finished a feature film in London. So there are people that are working in film, and they don't have to work for CNN and BBC. Those are very respectable jobs, and I like it, and I support it, but it's just not me. So I'm here to really talk more about advocacy. And I would like to tie in media and film and digital media and social media, tying it into the film work. Because although I enjoy the process of filmmaking, digital media, and storytelling, what I've always been interested in from a more academic approach is how film and media is used, the power of it, as a platform not only to entertain, but to educate regarding larger social issues and issues that matter of importance across the board, whether it's environmental, social, or political. So I chose to approach and study film from that lens, through that lens, in a greater context, a global context. So it's kind of nerdy, and when I'm on productions, people ask me what I studied, but I felt that it was important to understand and marry the cross-discipline approach to filmmaking so that I always understand not only the process and production of making a film, but how it might be seen, through what lens, and the lasting impact it may have, regardless of the audience. But one thing also, as I say that, and this ties into advocacy, is audience and messaging. Okay? So whether the creator intends to or not, film and digital media can reach a wide audience. And this summit is a perfect example of that, because through the social media campaign, that's how the word got out and was spread to many people. So with the click of a button and proper messaging, thoughts and ideas can reach individuals in far-reaching corners of the globe. And though not every single project I create is developed for advocacy specifically, or to change the world per se, I care about my role in society and how I can engage in being a better global citizen. And I might not always change something, but one thing I always hope for is exchange and dialogue. So advocacy, as described and defined by Merriam-Webster, is the act or process of advocating or supporting a cause or proposal. To advocate, which Somalis are very good at, is that one pleads the cause of another, specifically one that pleads the cause for another either before a tribunal or judicial court, or one that defends or maintains a cause or proposal, or promotes an interest. So although there are different types of advocacy approaches, I'd like to focus on, like I said, film, digital video advocacy, and social media. And although there are so many critical issues facing society today, and as much as we would like to, as individuals, address every single issue, I think it's important as a person to focus on what issue is important to you and what you would like to get out to a wider audience. So you need to be clear about the key issues, and again, social, environmental, political, whatever it may be. Be clear about that. Think about what you're interested in, what cause you care about, and what change do you want to see come about. And it's good to be clear about that so that you can create concrete goals and think about an outcome. So oftentimes we see all these media campaigns or all these social media, but we're not always clear what they want. Do they want money? Do they want me to vote for a particular cause? Am I supposed to change public policy? What am I doing with this? And over the years, as I've just participated on different freelance projects, oftentimes with NGOs who have visibility goals, I always ask, well, what would you like to come out of this? What do you want to do with this film? Do you want to show your programmatic work? Do you need to fundraise for more water programs in Somalia or wherever else you may be working? What do you want to do from this? And how do you want to do it? Do you want to use still photos? Do you want to use music? Do you want to use fashion and create pieces from the people of the community, that they create and then get out? Think about what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then strategize approach. So there's that. How am I going to, what do you want? How am I going to do this? And there's so many methods that you can use, particularly in social media platform. And every day, or it feels like every week, like I said, I'm not Steve Jobs, but there's a new platform that you can engage in. So whether you're singing in Vine, I don't know if you know about Vine. How many of you have heard about the app Vine? Vine is 6-second video clips. Most people maybe show somebody walking down the street or eating a meal. But you can actually use Vine. You can do anything with those 6 seconds. If you sing 6 seconds of an important message and do that every day, that can evoke change. Maybe you're singing for them to donate to a particular cause. Please donate to this cause. Then that'll lead them to that website to give money. That 6 seconds might lead to $1, and if you do enough of them, it can add up. So it's these apps and this technology, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, the things we always hear about, are great and useful, and many people are using them. But I urge you just to think about how. Maybe you create YouTube clips. Maybe you create specific YouTube clips that are 5 minutes telling people to do something tangible and tactile that they can get into, that they can donate, or that they can gather to support a particular cause. And again, it can be anything, but just strategize that approach. So, or maybe you could have those 5-minute YouTube clips on a specific day. So frame the message. For example, there's World Refugee Day, there's Earth Day, there's World Water Day. So maybe you spend 5 months, 5 videos that lead up in this big event on World Water Day. That's just an example. So right now I'd like to just use what I feel is a really effective campaign. This is MSF which is an NGO, and I'm just using this as an example because of friends that have worked on this project. They have not only video and stills, okay? What they did was they didn't just focus on the famine or response. They created this campaign around hunger and malnutrition. And it was done around the world. So you have people who filmed in Somalia, and yes, these are images that we're used to seeing. But what it does is it challenges the viewer, because they can watch the video and then hear from the people that were there. They can hear from the photographers who experienced this by participating with them. They can hear from the filmmakers. And they not only have this page where you can go to different countries and see, you can also take action, okay? So you can engage with public policy. You can go to events. So maybe you have no idea, you never traveled the world, you never left Lund, is that the town? But you want to go see the exhibition and learn more about malnutrition around the world. Or you can donate. Say you don't want to be involved, you're like, I don't want to have part with this, I'm just going to donate. So this is one example. And this is, I urge you to maybe just go around this website. I just want to show one other quick example, is that recently in January I went to Somalia for International Rescue Committee. And this is a video, it was just a few days, it was in Galkaya, and they wanted to hear from the people who worked, who participated or benefited from any of the programs regarding conflict relief and water and sanitation. So I focused on livelihood programs and water and sanitation. We don't have to watch the video. If you could just X out to the main page. I just want to use, this was released for World Water Day. So it ties back to how you use the film. It could have just been any film where you hear from people and you're like, you might be exhausted or fatigued. But it gives, you not only released it during World Water Day, but then there was steps. They could either donate, they could learn more about the programs that are there in Somalia, they could hear from the people directly, and that's it. So I'm sorry to ramble, but if you have any questions about film or anything,
I mean, you just showed that being a filmmaker doesn't mean just doing actions or thrillers or scary movies. That you can actually use your knowledge to help people to be people's voice. So I think that is really amazing, and I actually learned something about your profession. That's amazing. And also one question. This is Stockholm. What did I say? Lund.
No, I said I was using that as an example.
Oh, yeah. All right.